That belongs in a museum.
You are basically forcing that reaction, as Savjz said. Get that shade out. So he did get something out of it, and we are now going to the Grand Tournament. Justicar Trueheart comes down.
Is that lethal right there? Nostam did not go for the brawl. 13
plus 8 plus 8? That is a large amount of damage. I believe that is just lethal, yeah. That's crazy.
Wow, just like
Has the living roots as well if he needs it.
Right, Amnesiac really quick to identify that, pulls the trigger. He goes for it, 16 damage between the Shade and the Shredder. Hero power, not required. He's got enough damage, and he is going to go ahead and take game 1 in this series.
I wonder if that was worth it on his part, because having seen him whiff for several turns, he would have maybe been expecting a 4-drop from his opponent, but his mind went 1 turn later. He's now saying, okay, if your hand was that bad, you must have a minion you want to play by now, so I'm going to block it out. But the prep sprint draw is awesome for something to do this turn to prevent that Doomsayer from blocking his turn.
That is perfect for Amnesia. Getting that sprint now, that Doomsayer is preventing minions from getting played unless it was killed, and you don't really want to use the cards to deal with the Doomsayer. Now, after that sprint, he's going to have 10 cards, and he gets a poison, so no cards going to be burned or wasted.
Perfect. Yeah, otherwise he would have had to think about just backstabbing the Doomsayer for no reason, just to have another card drawn. But he's going to go ahead and poison here and swing the damage at face just to play around potential answers to weapons here.
Right, and we talk.
Get out of a brawl. It only killed a 3-3 and a slime, but he has a second one in his hand. So if there was a Violet Teacher spawning a lot of 1-1s or a lot of other minions coming in, he would still have access to another board clear.
Sottle, you look like you're thinking something.
Sorry, yeah, I was just reacting that exactly the same play does come down. It actually ends up being pretty solid against the Deathlord that comes out there. He made the play on the previous turn, setting up exactly this. Backstab, Tinker's Oil, Lotheb to prevent removal. But this is nice timing from Nostam to be able to draw the Fiery War Axe. That's a form of removal that doesn't get locked out by Lotheb, and the Belcher comes down.
Doing a little bit of math here, we see that he would have 10. He's going to have 10 mana on the next turn. Amnesiac could play down something like Azure Drake, Eviscerate.
That is a lot of damage, but is it enough? Because if he had 11 mana, I'm pretty sure it would be. With the Drake, double Eviscerate's Flurry.
Yeah, I think if that second Drake drawn was a preparation, he would have had lethal this turn. That line anyway, why not, right? Like, he has to do so much to answer it. He has to clear the board, he has to armor up, he has to put a taunt in the way, he has to do so many things to be able to prevent that second Eviscerate being able to seal the game.
Right, and we see here, Violet Teacher comes down. Or Violet Teacher rather, already down, but going to go ahead and propagate those minions. And yeah, as you guys said, he's pushing a lot of damage and forcing an immediate reaction from Nostam if he wants to stay alive.
Amnesiac with potential 10 damage coming in with the Drake, Eviscerate. Oh, is there any way out for Nostam?
Yeah, he just simply cannot gain enough damage. He could have made a card draw play with the Acolyte and the Revenge maybe, but his instinct tells him to play the Brawl here, and by playing the Brawl, he just locks himself out of any possibility of gaining enough life to get out of range of this double Eviscerate.
Amnesiac, no stranger to Rogue. This is by far his most played class. Absolutely swears by it. You know, it's not uncommon considering what we saw at the World Championship last year.
Yeah, Rogue players, when they bring Rogue to tournament, they tend to be successful with it. It's a deck with a huge gap between the skill floor and the skill ceiling, so when you are incredibly competent at it, there's so much room to outplay your opponent, to overcome bad matchups, because the discrepancy between the average play and the optimal play is so high with the deck.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to see Nostam doesn't have anything that can bail him out at this point.
No, the best he can do here is to armor up. As ridiculous as it sounds, he could have coined out the Shield Slam on the 1-1 to have 1 more HP. Right. But regardless of that, even if he did that play, he would have still been dead to the Drake double Evis. And Amnesiac gonna go up 2-0 already in the series.
And this was an unfavored matchup. We were talking about this at the start. This is very difficult to navigate, but Amnesiac found that sprint, found the resources, found the window through which he could possibly win, and is now gonna go up 2-0 in the final match of this championship.
Belcher, did he had Deathlord early on? No, I don't think so. So there's still quite a few taunts left in the deck that he could potentially need to silence out of the way to activate the Leroy combo.
Silencing an Acolyte of Pain can be extremely powerful sometimes, because the... Whoa!
That's a pretty solid draw.
Nostam pulls the trigger on that Twisting Nether, and Reno Jackson, that is huge. Savjz, tell us why.
That's not a bad card to get. Some newer viewers might think that in this situation it would be a disaster, because the battle cry is so powerful, and the deck is kind of built around it to get that powerful heal. But he's playing against a control warrior, and I think that having the minion with 4 and 6 as stats is pretty good in this situation.
Yeah, it really is. Just jammed on the board. Spike Jackson would probably just be used to buy you extra turns of fatigue at the end of the game more than anything. And Nostam is going to take this opportunity just to jam Jiraxxus onto the board. He's going to make the push to go right now, start getting those 6/6s down on board. But Savjz, what's in the hand?
It's Harrison Jones, and
Those hands are about to belong in a museum.
can't wait to see what he
so
picks up.
for us non-role players on the desk, are his hands literally being ripped off right now by this Harrison Jones?
I think when I talked to some people at Blizzard, it was a kinder, gentler thing. We just asked him to, put his...
He should just maybe bash Shield Slam to prevent the burning any cards that he gets from that Harrison Jones, because he will draw so many cards that his hand is going to be full anyway.
Yeah, I like this though overall. Just like hold on to the Shield Slam or the Execute. Just play 2 cards. He is still going to burn 1, but I like this play. He just fills up his hand on so many resources that the 1 burned card on average shouldn't matter too much. Picks up that Gorehowl, picks up the Grom. Those are 2 huge cards that he will have been looking for.
Yeah, that Grom in particular is so important, because that is what gives him the potential to finish the game off as early as next turn.
So Nostam took a very aggressive line there, decided he was just going to go for it, knowing that Harrison Jones was in the hand. What do you guys think of that play?
I mean, there are 2 possible times you can do it. You can do it early and say, okay,
Done as in form of being an easy removal for the Justicar.
I remember we made the point earlier on about how crucial that implosion roll on the Sludge Belcher was, because he had to use the Dark Bomb to finish it off instead of the Mortal Coil. If that implosion had rolled 4, the Dark Bomb would still be in hand right now to deal with this Justicar.
Nostam just suddenly seeming like he is in a very bad spot. He's punching out that Leroy and...
I'm a big fan of that play, actually. He recognizes that if he can stabilize here, the win condition of the 6/6s every turn are going to get the job done. So he doesn't need that burst damage finish necessarily. He just needs to find an efficient way of keeping control on the board. And that was pretty solid.
Yeah, here Amnesiac has a few options. Gorehowl looking like the most obvious one to take care of the Infernal. He could also slam Execute it and play something else. Maybe develop a minion with Deathlord potentially, but just getting the weapon out right now. In combination with the Grom, that would be enough if there was no Acidic Swamp boost.
Right, we talked about last game how Amnesiac did not have the health to leverage that Gorehowl effectively. This turn, or this time around, he absolutely does. He has that tank up online, so he is ready to go, and he can actually deal with a few of these Dread Infernals from Nostam.
Going to Demon Wrath this board, he wants to do it before the Acidic Swamp Ooze comes down. So he's just deciding whether he needs to deal with these 1/1s, decides that he does, and he's probably just going to get his hero power value here instead of using the heal bot. But as you said, great recognition. Okay, he got it.
Got it in time.
But yeah, as you said, Savjz, great recognition. He's left his opponent needing 11 damage, knowing that the maximum that's likely to come out here is 10.
Right, Nostam displays some sick APM there, playing that Dark Peddler down.
Move that, and he knows it, so I think we're going to see the Shadow Flame.
Zombie Chow coming out here. Is it going to... Oh, he's going to Power Overwhelming and Shadow Flame the Zombie Chow to keep the 6/6 on the board. I actually like this a lot. It makes sense.
Does give up a Power Overwhelming, though, in doing this play. So is that necessarily something? He's obviously lost Leroy.
Right.
So the main win condition of this deck is obviously very much diminished. But do you think it affects him too much to do this play this way?
Not really. I think with the Leroy gone, the core of the Power Overwhelming's usefulness is pretty much extinguished. So using it there to essentially get a 6/6 on the board for free that wouldn't have been there if it had been forced to Shadow Flame it the other way makes a ton of sense.
I think that's it.
This is going to be it. This is going to be it. There's no defensive play in hand.
All right,
we've crowned a champion.
Amnesiac is about to pull this out, and he is going to take the series 3-1 if he sees it. He absolutely sees it, slams the Grom. Grom going to get in there with the Shield Maiden, and Amnesiac is going to be the America's Winter Champion. He has punched his ticket to the Hearthstone World Championship at BlizzCon later this year. Congratulations to Amnesiac. Guys, any quick thoughts?
Phenomenal play from Amnesiac throughout the entire tournament. Definitely one of the strongest standout moments in all of this.
All right, we're going to go ahead and toss it over to Dan. He is about to get the interview with our America's Winter Champion, Amnesiac.
All right, congratulations, Amnesiac. Here's your trophy, man. Now that you've actually declared yourself the America's champion, just go through what's going through your head right now. Talk to me.
It's unreal. When I showed up in DC and in a 128-man bracket, I couldn't have possibly expected to have won it all. It just feels incredible.
That's awesome, man. And now that you're officially the champion, do you have anything you want to say to everybody that's watching right now as you, as a 15-year-old player that's been relatively new, but everyone's been talking about you? What do you want to say right here, right now?
I really appreciate everyone who watched and supported me this whole weekend. It wouldn't have been possible without everyone who was helping me along the way.
And with that, congratulations. I present to you the Hearthstone America's champion for Winter 2016, Archon's Amnesiac. Thank you so much to everybody who has been able to watch. Remember to tune in this Friday at 2 p.m. Central Eastern European Time for the European Winter Championships. Thank you all from Frode and everyone here in Hollywood, California. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys next time.